Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about this pen. This is a vintage Wahl Eversharp. This is not one of the modern remakes. This is actually was made sometime between 1941 and 1950, the years that they produced these pens. This belongs to somebody else. He sent it to me after he bought an eBay restored because there were some issues. The cap, the metal was spinning loose. Just some minor tweaks that needed to be fixed up, which I did for him, and then I'll be giving this back to him. It's an interesting pen. We're kind of really fascinating. I love the looks of it. Let's just take a look at this. This is an Art Deco design, and it was designed by the same guy actually who made the really streamlined locomotives in the 20th Century Express. You can Google it, take a look at that, and you'll see similar design philosophies in those looks and this pen, the whole Art Deco thing. One thing I love about industrial design is if you want to know what people think the future is going to be and what the future is going to look at what they're designing for themselves at the time. This is what they thought the future was. Really interesting pen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the pieces of the pen. I'm going to give this pen some ratings out of 5. I'm going to rate the design, the comfort, and the writing experience. Then I'm going to do a writing sample, and then we'll be done. So let's start with the pieces of the pen. Okay, these are the parts of the pen. As you can see up close here, it's got the really nice Art Deco design. And let's start with the cap. So the cap is this very kind of streamlined, futuristic at the time look. It has the Wahl symbol here in the clip. It says Eversharp down here. It is gold plated, I guess. It's got a couple of vent holes on either side. The green plastic here matches the rest of the pen. And this goes around, and that acts as the spring for the clip, which is actually still pretty good. It says Eversharp Skyline patent or PAT made in USA across there, and it has the lines across here, which you can see. Decent shape, not too much brassing, a little bit up here near the top. Other than that, and not bad shape. So the body of the pen tapers down to a sharp point down here, and quite a sharp taper. Has a lever, and can you see in this picture? You can. This lever has some wear on the gold plating on the lever, which is very common in these pens because of its posting. It actually posts really nice and deep, and that's a nice decent size, and the weight's good, not top heavy. But as you can see, it sits on top of the lever there, and that's what causes most of these pens to have wear on this, because it wore away the plating there. It dips in here where the cap goes on. Comes to threads, which are not sharp at all, nice, and it's got an hour-shaped design to the section, which is actually pretty comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with holding this pen without the posting, because it still fits in the hand, and it's not a bad width here. It's actually pretty comfortable. Then you get the nib, which is the Eversharp nib. It's 14 karat gold. It says Eversharp up at an angle, 14K, made in the USA. It's got this kind of interesting looking feed, which I think you can see it like cuts in here. There's some great big air vents through, and it's smooth right there. That's about it. Those are the parts of the pen. Okay, so those are the pieces of the pen. Let's give this pen some ratings. For design, I'm going to rate this pen a 4.5 out of 5. I really like it. I like the Art Deco feel of it. I think that it really captures the essence of the time. I think that, yeah, it is a nice looking pen, and I normally wouldn't like a pen that's fat over here and skinny over here, and I probably would only ever like it on this one pen, but I do. I like the gold. I think it's looking really quite black in this video, but I think it was a green or a blue. It's hard to tell. These pens had a habit of fading a lot. They were using a new kind of plastic, and it wasn't as stable as some other plastics. But regardless, I think it looks pretty good. I think they could have done a better job polishing up, whoever restored it, but what can you do? So the design, 4.5. For comfort, I'm going to give this pen a 3.5. It's very decent. It fits in my hand nicely, uncapped, unposted. Posted, it's actually a little more comfortable, but I'm not going to do that because it's. I showed you in the pieces of the pen how it wears away at the lever, and I really don't think that I need to make it any worse. But that being said, it fits in the hand okay. It's a little narrow through here, like not. I would prefer it a little bit thicker through, but what can you do? It is what it is. A vintage pen, you kind of get what you get, right? For writing experience, I give it a 3.5. And for other people, I'm sure it could be even more, but for me, I find it a little fine, a little bit feedbacky, not scratchy, but you know you're writing with it, but writes smoothly, no real flex, but it is what it is, and that's not a bad thing. So I give it a 3.5. All right, let's do a writing sample. So this is the Wahl Eversharp. This is a vintage version, not the remake. Made sometime in the 1940s. It has a fine nib, and we got Waterman's ink in it, like I do with all my vintage pens. So let's do some writing. Once upon a time, like in the 1940s, future looked bright, and streamlined, and art deco. So it, as you can see, there was no hard starts there. There was no skips. It goes pretty well. It's a fine line. It has a bit of feedback. Definitely not scratchy, but you can feel you're writing with it. Some people really like that in a pen. I'm pretty indifferent to it, but not bad in any way. Let's do some fast writing. Yeah, so it's keeps up really nicely. There's no problem with the feed here. Keeping up. Wetness. It's pretty wet, as you can see. It puts down a really saturated line, which is nice, which is good. Is there any line variation? A little bit, a little bit. So there's not very much in this pen. I know that they made a variety of nibs for these pens, from like really super fine, very hard, like accountant's pens, right up to italics and like really flexible soft pens. This is a simple, fine, not very flexible pen. You can put a tiny little bit of line variation, but not very much. It's not really what this pen is for. Reverse writing. It keeps up. I find it's digging into the paper a little bit, so it's very sharp, but also very, very fine. So there's that. see. Nothing really in mind to draw. I'll just draw an ugly guy like I always do. Say A. So that's about it. Yeah, so that is a vintage Wahl Eversharp, restored by someone who's not me. Did an okay job. Yeah, not a bad pen at all. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. There's lots of videos on there. There's plenty more coming. And until then, goodbye.